Let's face it, running your own interior design business can feel overwhelming. But guess what? You don't have to do it alone. I am so excited to introduce a brand new way to get the support you need. One-on-one mentorship with me, Laura Thornton, your interior design bestie. In just one focused hour, we'll dive into whatever you need most, whether that's pricing strategies, client management, presentations, attracting clients, building up a repeat business, or just getting out of the hamster wheel. You'll get clarity, strategy, and expert advice based on my 28 years of running a thriving business and over the last decade, a seven-figure design firm. This is your chance to get real answers to the questions you've been dying to ask from someone who's actually been there and is currently still walking the walk. Book your session as you need it. There are no strings attached. You'll walk away with personalized, actionable advice that you can implement right away. One-on-one, 1-hour sessions as you need it. Head to the website or click the link in the show notes to book your mentorship session, and let's build a beautiful, profitable business that you've been dreaming of together. Welcome to the Business of Beautiful Spaces, a podcast that's specifically for interior designers and decorators. This is the podcast for designers and decorators who love creating beautiful spaces, but also know that building a profitable business, it what makes it all sustainable. Hi, I'm Laura Thornton, and after nearly 30 years in the interior design industry and building a seven-figure design firm, I know firsthand how lonely it can feel running your own business. Making big decisions without a boardroom, without a business partner, or another executive team member to walk things through. That's exactly why this podcast exists. Think of me as your interior design bestie, the place you come for honest conversations, real action items, and a clear to-do list that you can apply today to move the needle forward and improve your bottom line. And if you can't get the answers you're looking for here, one-on-one mentorship with me is always available because no designer and decorator should have to figure this out alone. My goal with every episode is simple: to help you build a more profitable, confident design business and propel you into sustainable, successful future. So let's dive in. Hello, designer friends. Welcome back to the Business of Beautiful Spaces. Today, we're going to talk about your pipeline detox, because if you've ever thought, I'm so busy, but why does it feel like I'm not moving forward? Why am I booked, but still stressed about cash flow? Then there's a good chance your pipeline is full of what I call almost ideal leads. These are not terrible people. They're just not the right fit. And the problem is they are renting space in your calendar, in your inbox, and in your brain. So today I'm going to give you a simple framework to clean up your pipeline so that you can book the right projects on the right timing for you and run your project like the premium brand that it is. Okay, so we are going to cover today the calendar drain categories. We're also going to do a fit check call, and we're going to talk about your non-negotiables. So let's start with calendar drain categories. So first, we need a shared language because not every lead is equal, and your calendar can't treat them all like they need to be deserved the same across all access to you. So I want you to picture 3 buckets. Bucket 1 is the green light leads. These are considered the aligned. These are our people. They have the appropriate budget, the realistic scope, and the timeline that makes sense. And they value us and our process and what we bring to the table. They understand that design is an investment, not an impulse buy. So you are talking to a green light lead. They ask how your process works. They are clear about the problem that they are trying to solve. They respect your expertise. They are not allergic to talking about budget. They want leadership. The green light does not need convincing. They just need clarity and the next steps, and they're good to go. Okay, that's of course what we want for every single project. But a second bucket, let's call that the yellow light leads. So the yellow light leads are, they're a maybe, they have boundaries. We think to ourselves, we can work with them. I need the money. I need the pipeline. I need this. And these leads can work if the scope gets tighter, if the offer gets adjusted, or if the process gets clarified. So signs that you're talking to a yellow light lead. They have a budget. It's not organized. Their timeline is ambitious, but not impossible. You can set them in the right way. They want help, but they don't understand what you do fully and how you get paid to do it. And they're a little nervous, but they're respectful. And you know that there is some not great feelings about this, but yellow lights could mean that you might get the job and you could probably do it. They need structure, but they might say to you, here's what this looks like, and here's what I think it should cost. Meanwhile, they've never done a reno or worked with a designer before. Okay. So bucket 3 is the red light leads. We all know this one. We know it's misaligned, period. They are high maintenance. They are discount seekers. They are unrealistic, and they want a lot of free labor. And we all know it, and we've all had them, and we've all been part of the problem. But the signs are there. You know you're talking to a red light lead. They avoid any questions, and they're very defensive, and they just want to give you ballpark ideas without details. They ask for links and sources and recommendations, but don't want to actually do it all or buy it from you. And they expect a rush timeline with no trade-offs. They treat you like a vendor, not like a professional partner. And the red light leads are the ones who drain you the most because they're the ones that take the most time and deliver the least profit. So here is the biggest takeaway. Your business does not have a lead problem. It's a filtering problem. And we've all had all 3 of these clients. So how do we filter? How do we detox our framework? Step 1, we're going to define our non-negotiables moving forward. Because once we detox our pipeline, then you know what you're standing for. Because if you don't define your standards, then your leads start to define them for you. And if we want referrals from these leads, how do you think the referral is going to go if we don't have standards that we're living by and working by? So here's the first most important step to detox. Define your non-negotiables. I want you to write these down. Don't put them in your head. They need to be on paper. They need to be part of your business script, if you will. I have these along with, for me, I have all of my things in my business where what we stand for, we have all of our purposes. Like we have a lot of things that we work towards in our business, and we have our BHAGs, things you've heard me talk about here. So put them where you have those items, because this is something that's going to become really big in your business. They don't live in your head. They're on paper, in a note, somewhere that you can reference this material each and every time you reply to an inquiry. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. Ooh, allergies are killing me. So non-negotiable number 1, minimum project investment. Okay, you know how I stand on those. I think that there is something that I'm going to deep dive a little bit on this. And I'm also going to say, or your minimum design fee. So minimum design fee is fine. You can have a minimum design fee because we all know it takes a lot to do anything in our business, and you need a baseline that makes the project worth your time. So I just want to touch on the minimum project investment because I don't post this anywhere. I don't have this in my business because I find it can be something that is limiting. And I'm going to just deep dive a little bit into it. Sorry to get off topic, but I want to touch on it because I know a lot of people do it. If I had a project minimum for renovations that, let's say, was $100,000 or $50,000, whatever the case may be, and I had the same thing on a decorating element or decorating job, so 50,000, 150, whatever the case may be, I will make more money on a decorating job than I do on a renovation job. So I'm always going to take the decorating job over a renovation in most cases for the same dollar minimum amount because I'm not making the same amount of money. So if I had a minimum project investment somewhere listed on my website, I feel like it could deter people for renovation because they have no idea how much things cost to do. But I know a lot of people do it. So I'm including it because I know so many people do it. I'm just telling you why I don't do it. But a minimum design fee is something that probably most people should have because you can't really design anything for less than a couple of $1,000s. Like I don't even think you could do a powder room for $2,000 anymore. So this is where you need to have some minimums. You don't need to post them. They just need to be things that you know from your data and analytics on past projects. But having a minimum design fee is probably important. And the reason I say that is because let's just use the powder room, for example. The powder room, you need to go pick a toilet. You need to pick the toilet paper holder. You need the towel ring. You need the vanity. You need the sink. You need the countertop. You need the vanity lights. You need the mirror. You need pot lights. You need the tile on the floor if it's tile on the floor. Whatever the case may be. It's just 10 quick things that we need, and we haven't even gotten to decorating yet. Are you wallpapering? Are you doing crown molding? Are you doing baseboards? Are you changing the door? Are you changing the door hardware? Like you can very quickly see that you could have up to 20 to 30 items in a powder room that need to be selected. If you think that you can do that in less than 10 hours, plus present it, plus get the samples, plus make a presentation, like that's not possible. So even if someone is charging $100 an hour, Do the math really quickly. That's not possible anymore. So the minimum design fee is something that you probably want to at least have in the back of your mind or on this piece of paper when you're having these calls, and it should be a non-negotiable because you know at that point you're losing money. So why are we taking jobs just to take jobs when we know we're going to lose money? So a minimum design fee is probably something that is good to work through and have. A minimum furnishing budget might also be something you might want to have as a non-negotiable because you know at what point you're breaking even and making money. And it might also be a minimum overall investment into a home where you know that you might be making 20% on that procurement in it or on the design fees or whatever the case may be. But you need a line in the sand that you're not willing to go below because your time is actually worth something. And if you don't have one, then you will accept projects that look fine in the beginning and then become chaos later. And then we start to resent them and we're losing money and we're not being profitable. Okay, non-negotiable number 2, the required scope. What projects do you actually want to do? Do you want full service furnishings? Do you want renovation and finishes? Do you want new build selections? Are you looking at commercial projects, e-design? Decide what you want to say yes to and what you are going to say no to in order to get the yeses. Because the fastest way to burn yourself out is taking on projects that don't match your strengths or your structure. Okay, non-negotiable number 3, your purchasing policy. This is a big one. Do you require procurement through your studio? Are you allowing clients to directly purchase their own items? Do you handle the receiving and the damages, or are you trade only? You get to decide, but you have to decide. Because if your purchasing policy is fuzzy, your profit is going to tank or also be fuzzy because there isn't a hard line in the sand. Non-negotiable number 4, decision makers' requirements. Who is going to be involved here? I've had multiple projects where I start off with one person and all of a sudden they start having a special significant other in their life. And the next thing you know, I've got another person who's now making decisions and reaching out to me and asking me questions, but they're not on the contract. If someone is not the decision maker, but they're starting to drive the process, this turns into delays and second guessing and endless revisions. So we need to define it. Who needs to be part of the discovery call? Who is approved to make selections and who signs the agreement? Because that's the person that you need to be talking to at all times. Non-negotiable number 5, geography and site visits. You got to be honest about your radius. What radius is included in your fees? Once they go past that radius, how much per kilometer are you adding to the bill? Be honest about what you can support and be honest about the site visit expectations. Don't leave it to the client to say, you can call me when you need me. They're never going to call you. They don't want to spend the money. So you need to tell them at what points you need to be part of that project. And if you're going to do renovation projects outside your area, this is not a small detail. This is a business model decision. You need to make sure that you've allotted for the extra time in the car, the wear and tear on your car, the extra gas consumption if there's toll roads, and you need to make sure that you have explained all of that to your clients and make sure that the fee is included in that. Non-negotiable number 6, your timeline reality check. This is one where we go and get trapped because we give numbers, we give out timelines, and then they can't actually be realistically supported. So you need to create a filter that is realistic for timelines. And if your client wants urgent timelines, we need to probably shut that down. We've all said yes to things and all had timelines that were urgent and then probably blew past those timelines. And then we are disappointing our clients. Because a rush project is not automatically a premium project, a rush project is often a messy project unless it comes with realistic trade-offs and appropriate fees that make it worth it to be a rushed project. So your non-negotiable might sound like, we are booking projects a minimum of 8 to 10 weeks out, or our custom furniture is a 12-week lead time, totally dependent on the fabric arrival time. It could be up to 16 weeks. And we can accommodate a shorter timeline only with rush fees and limited scope. So once these non-negotiables are clear, here's what happens. You stop making decisions from emotion, you stop making decisions from scarcity, and you stop making decisions from standards. And standards are what premium brands have. I think I just said that wrong. You start making decisions from standards because standards are what premium brands have. My apologies. Okay, let's move on. I would like to reframe the discovery call. So discovery call sounds nice and fluffy because that's what we want our clients to feel like it is. We're discovering about your project and you can discover a little bit about us. But really, this should be framed as a fit check. This is the moment where, we need to know what is happening. So I actually in the background call it a fit check. We're fitting to see if we are going to be a good fit. Because if it's not, this is where we lose our calendar. The discovery call, or what I call the fit check call, because that's what it is. It's not a free consult. It is not a let's pick my brain. It is not tell me what paint color to use. It's a qualifying conversation between you and a potential client. And that is it. Your job on that call is super simple. You're confirming whether the project is a green light, a yellow light, or a red light, those three buckets we talked about. That's it. And that is the secret. You need a structure so you don't get pulled into a red light bucket and into an unpaying problem-solving project. So here's where the fit check structure that I would really like for you to start using comes into three parts: confirm, clarity, and commit. 3 C's. Confirm, start with the basics. This is where you confirm the facts and quickly catch any red flags. Before we dive in, I'm going to ask you a few questions, make sure we're aligned, and I can guide you for the right next step. Where is the project located? What spaces are included? What's your timeline and what's driving the timeline? Because 9 times out of 10, it's my daughter's getting married and we need this space done, but you didn't know that. And then all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball again. Who will be making decisions on the project? And will they be involved throughout the entire process? If the decision maker is not on the call, automatic no, but it's a yellow flag because you could say, for our process, it is best that we have both decision makers on this key call before we move forward, and we would love to have them involved. So yellow flag, not a red flag, yellow flag. So clarity. This is where you test your non-negotiables and you have to listen really closely because part of designers, we love to talk. We love to talk, and we talk too much in our discovery calls and we're not listening enough. So is there budget clarity? Have you set a budget range for the project investment, including your furnishings, your construction, whatever the case may be? We don't know. That could be a response. That's okay. Part of the process is the clarifying the priorities, and we can do that for you. We can confirm if it's the right range. Scope clarity. Are you looking for full service design where we manage the process, or are you looking for a plan so that you can implement? Purchasing policy. Are you looking for a studio to handle the procurement and receiving, or do you prefer to purchase on your own? Even that might not even be an option. In our office, that's not an option. You are not allowed to purchase anything. So you got to be clear about your business model. And then the communication and decisions. How do decisions get made in your household? Would you, when we present, but this also could be part of your process already, but we prefer to have it in our studio. Do you prefer it in your home? Set the boundaries of what you are willing to do. In addition, this is also where your communication limitations and standards can come in as well. And here is not what I'm going to do on this design call. I am not going to be picking your paint for you, but I'm going to explain how our process works and what the right next step is. And yeah, say it again if you need to, because some leads will try to turn the fit check into free design help. And this is your moment to stay calm, stay warm, and stay in your lane. Okay, the last part was commitment or commit. So this is where you decide which bucket they're going to go into. If they are green, based on what you've shared, this sounds aligned. The next step of our onboarding process is we start with a paid discovery call and we move on to concept planning. And then you outline exactly what you're going to include and what that looks like, and hopefully sign them up right there for what date works best for them for that concept, that 2 hour, whatever it is that you do next. Then if they're in the yellow bucket, I think we could be a good fit if we had the right structure and boundaries. I recommend that we start with X, Y, and Z, and you give them that information. And this is how you can convert a yellow lead into a red lead without letting them drain you. Now, if it's a red bucket, a red light, thank you so much for reaching out. Based on what you've shared, I don't think we're the best fit for your goals and your timeline. I'd rather be honest with you now than waste your time later. And if it helps, I can point you towards a better fit source. Hopefully you're not passing off a horrible person to somebody you like, but you don't need to apologize. You don't need to over-explain, and you no longer need to negotiate your standards. And then the fit check scorecard, which is an optional tool that you can also use. I have it on my script. You can start to give each You could get, I have categories. So budget clarity, scope clarity, decision maker involved, timeline, all the things we just went through. You can give them a rating. You can score them. So 0 to 5 is red, 6 to 10 is yellow, 11 to 14, whatever the case may be. But it turns the messy emotional decision into a clear business decision, as opposed to just wanting to gain another client in our pipeline that is not going to help us. Okay, so let's recap. How are you going to detox your pipeline? You're going to sort your leads into green, yellow, and red buckets. You're going to define your non-negotiables so that your business has standards, not just vibes. And we are going to run a structured fit check call, otherwise known as discovery call, that can confirm the fit without giving away free consulting. And I want you to remember that you can be kind and still have boundaries, and you can be warm and lovely and still have standards, and you can protect your calendar and your profits and still be an amazing designer. Right? I hope you agreed with me. Okay, thank you for hanging out with me today. If this episode has helped you, could you share with a designer friend who also needs a pipeline detox? I would very much appreciate it. And a free way to support our show is by leaving us a rating over on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast. It's a chance to tell us what you love about the show, and it helps others discover it too. I'll see you next week on the Business of Beautiful Spaces.